How are you doing? I'm Martin from Gardens for Life. Didn't I tell you in the last video? I'm going to show you the grapes now, this time around. And there's figs too, we've got lots of figs. We have our winter selection pre-sale on now. And what that means is you can reserve your plants on our website, on our brand new online shop that we've just put up. And hopefully it'll make life a lot easier for all of y'all and us too. This year we've got lots of exciting plants and roots and cuttings and tubers as well. In this video I'm going to be showing you some of those plants as they're growing now at the end of August. We'll be harvesting those freshly towards the end of November, and we'll be posting those out in December. Get yourself an early bird discount, discount code earlybirdwinter23 for 15% off our sale, everything that we have on our website. For those of you who are members of the Gardens for Life support community, don't forget you can get 25% off everything on our website with your members discount codes. If you've misplaced it and you're a member, just send us an email and let us know. And if you are not a member yet and you want to become one, you can go to gardensforlife.ie/members and read all about the benefits of becoming a member. We highly appreciate your support as always. So what can I show you in the greenhouse here? Let me take a look. So this is a broadleaf thyme. It's actually a version of the Spanish thyme. It's a Jamaican version, and the smell of it is unreal when you just rub the leaf. It smells kind of like a combination of citrus and thyme. We did do a bit of container gardening here, where we planted ochas and a couple of yacons as well into 18.5 litre pots. So after taking a break from ochas last year, they came back this year and they're doing really well, and we're going to have a mix of all the varieties available. We also have a few carrots growing here, some special varieties of mint here. We have 15 varieties of mint now, most of which are available on the website. Magnificent willow arches. We'll see more of those, and the shelter belt too. We've got lots of raspberries and elders. We have 5 different varieties of elders now. So you can see here you can let the mashuas actually grow up a hedge, and then you're going to make use of that space. And you're going to shade out the hedge a little bit too. Ideal. And you get a harvest of tubers way down here in the undergrowth. Mashuas are actually a tuberous nasturtium from the Andes. The tubers, the flowers and the leaves are edible, but unlike nasturtium, the leaves are not peppery, so they're not spicy. And the tubers are very spicy though. We don't actually eat those, we just use those to plant them again in other spots. And we'll have salad greens throughout the growing season then. And at the very end of the growing season, we should always get some flowers as well, and they taste really nice. We have great mullein here, look, beside the sunflower. And great it is, 2.5 meters tall, and it'll be making seeds now. Here's some chocolate mint. That's definitely a favorite among all of the different varieties of mint that we have. The fennel is going to seed now, and we'll have the bulbs available as well. They're perennial, and you get leaves and seeds every year. Curly corkscrew willow. It's a really nice tree, and look how big it grows. I only planted this here 4.5 years ago, and look at that. Must be 4 inches or 10 centimeters in diameter, and it was only planted as a little stick, like a cutting, maybe a foot long, and it's a really nice tree. We'll have marshmallow plants available. Nice one for the insects. The leaves are soft and they're full of mucilage, so if you have a rough throat, it's great for a tea. We see some Taunton Dean kale here. You'll see that spread around our gardens. We do the cuttings all year round. And the yarrow is the regular old white yarrow, or the wild one. It's a European wildflower, and it's a great medicinal plant too. You can use it for number of different things, and it's also known as soldier's woundwort from the Roman times. Look at this giant comfrey plant. We are going to have comfrey roots galore. That's more comfrey here, that's bucking 14, so the seeds are sterile. You can see the amount of leaves it produces, so you can make compost tea from the leaves, and they're also medicinal as well. You can heal bones with it quicker, hence the nickname knit bone. There's one here also going to flower still a little bit. Usually it flowers earlier on in the summer anyway. We've got lemon balm plants too. Lemon balm is a really good medicinal for tea and antihistamine. And we have 2 varieties of rhubarb, actually 3 varieties of rhubarb. Glaston's Perpetual, Victoria, and Chinese rhubarb. By the way, these plants here are only 1 year and 2 months old, and you could definitely harvest from them already. Look at the copious amounts of stalks here, and I grew those from seed last year, so they're only in the ground for basically about 12 months now, because we planted those a bit later in the year. You can see more mashua leaves here. They do look like a nasturtium, alright. Mashuas and ochas always sell out every winter. Here's a yacon plant. Yacon is a tuberous plant, and it actually makes a stool of tubers very similar to a dahlia, which you see over here. And yacon tubers, same as the dahlia, are both edible, but the yacon is certainly nicer. And you can eat it raw, kind of like an apple in the winter time. It's also known as winter apple. You can grow it again from crown divisions. Again, last year, same as the ochas, the marsh woundwort was not available, and this year we've got lots of it. What a wonderful flower it is, and it attracts lots of pollinators. On a sunny day there's even more bees around, and it produces a little tuber, a tuberous root, kind of like the Chinese artichoke. This huge plant here is about probably about 4 foot tall now, or $1.20 m, and it is actually a horseradish plant. You can see a small little one here in the ground, and you can dig up the tubers, or the roots I should say, in winter, and that's when it will have retrieved back into the ground and taken all the energy it has stored in the leaves and produces lots of roots in the ground. I find it doesn't really spread in the garden too much, as long as you grow other things beside it, or you could grow it in a pot too if you wanted to. We just planted at the edge of our garden, somewhere in the corner, and it's fine. It's really good. The young leaves can be eaten in a salad, but the roots can also be eaten grated, and you can make sauce from it, of course. Good old horseradish sauce. Goes well with some meals, and it's also really good for the lungs as well. Even to smell the roots is really good to clear the lungs. So horseradish should be in every garden, I think. Every garden of ours anyway. Here we have an ocean of Tauntondine and the odd nettle. So the Tauntondine kale is far superior to all the rest of the kales, at least in our opinion anyway, in terms of flavour and hardiness. Now the leaves are a little tougher than the red Russian kale and the Portuguese kale, but at the same time, if you harvest them young enough, like this, something like that size, then they're tender, and they also hold really well through even a cold winter. Last winter it went down to -8 degrees Celsius here, and we still had a good amount of quality leaves out here in the garden, whereas the chard had completely been frost bitten and damaged. But Tauntondine is really good. It doesn't produce seeds, it never goes to flower, but it can be grown from a cutting. Those are available too. And here you can see what looks like some kind of bindweed, but it's not. It is the Chinese potato, and it's actually a climber. So you can grow it in between plants and it'll climb up them. So it's a really nice potato. You can harvest it after 1 year or 2 or 3 or 4. Commercially, I believe they harvest it after 3 years to get the best yield. This is the oxalis trifolia, and the leaves are edible and the flowers too. It doesn't look at its best anymore. I'd say it's finishing for the season. So oxalis is actually a very decorative plant and in the garden, but also on the dinner plate. But don't need too much of it. It's got oxalic acid in it, hence the name. This is lamb's ear. We've just the last few plants available now, and I believe it's a medicinal plant, but also it looks really nice in the garden. It's a type of sage, I believe, and the leaves are really soft, so it's ideal for any garden, like a sensory garden, especially for kids. So you can see how hairy they are. So that's lamb's ear. Look at these willow arches. Aren't they nice? These are several years old now, but we cut them back every year. You can see the stems are quite substantial at this point. So now we're in our other greenhouse. Just take a look at the figs here. This is the Persian black. Now mind you, we don't have any fig plants or cuttings for sale yet, but I wanted to show them to you anyway. This is the brown turkey, and you can see some figs here. By the way, we do not restrain the roots at all of our fig trees. Look at these figs here. Oops. They're ready. It's a jungle of figs. Look at all these figs here. They're ready. Let me pick one. Let me give it a try. You can eat the skin, no bother, but sometimes you can peel it too. Oh, it's really good. It's really sweet. We got full sun in this greenhouse here, and it's very dry as well. So anyway, back to the other plants. Here we are at our other garden, and these are the Jerusalem artichokes. You can see they do grow quite tall, and I did make a video last year of planting them and harvesting them, and we didn't even replant these. These are actually just tuberous sunflowers, and they make a lot of tubers, and those are edible. You simply cure them for 2 weeks and then you can eat them. And they also make little sunflowers. You can see as the leaves get smaller towards the end of the season, you get lots of little sunflowers on the very top. And we have 5 varieties of the Jerusalem artichokes. On the other side here, we got some yarrow as well. Always plant the yarrow, very useful plant for the insects and for the humans. And here you can see some comfrey. We do plant that in every corner too. And some raspberries. These are the birdland raspberries. So those are primakin. They flower twice a year. So that means they make berries on last year's wood in early summer and on this year's wood in September, so in autumn. And you can see there's very little maintenance in them. You just cut out the old stalks from last year that have already been spent. So those are the willows. That's our shelter belt. And those have been planted about 4.5 years ago now. And you can see here we've been cutting them back. We've been coppicing them, or pollarding a little bit, because we have them about hip height off the ground, and we get all these fresh cuttings every year. So there's lots of wood, and they're useful in so many ways. You can block the wind, you can have some more privacy with them, you can use the leaves and the branches as animal fodder as well, and they are really good for the bees and the pollinators early on in spring. They make a lot of catkins, that's the flowers of the willow, in early spring. So that provides all the insects with food, and then that attracts them to your garden. And hopefully you have other plants then to keep them in your garden, and maybe even overwinter them until next season. Our willow cuttings have been selling out completely every winter for the last few years now. So grab yours while you can. This is our latest little no-dig garden expansion, and here you can see some Jacob's ladders like we seen in the other garden too there a moment ago. And here you can see one of the flowers actually. There you are. They don't typically flower this time of year though. These have just been planted here about a month ago. You can see they're doing very well. We also have more oca. Oca is tuberous plant. It's in the Oxalis family. And it also makes these little flowers. You can eat the leaves, but not too many. The flowers are also edible and they're really nice to eat. The tubers can be eaten too, and they are actually second to the potato in countries like New Zealand. They're also known as New Zealand yam because they eat them there every day, just like we do with the potato here in Europe. We also have some Egyptian walking onions coming on nicely. Those were planted here about a month and a half ago now, and they were started off from a little bulblet. Those are also available. Those will actually grow bigger and bigger, and they're perennial. They'll keep growing year after year, and they'll keep making these little bulblets that you can replant, and you can eat the whole thing. You need the stalk, the bulblets, and the of course the onion itself. And this one here is a weed. You can see how easy it is to pull that up in a no-dig garden. Here are some of our Glaston's perpetual rhubarb, 2 years after planting. Look at the amount of stalks. Huge plants. Very productive. As I always say to people, Glaston's perpetual is the only variety of rhubarb you can harvest after midsummer, because the oxalic acid from the leaves will actually travel back down the stalks after midsummer as the plant recedes for winter. And Glaston's perpetual doesn't do that, so you can harvest the stalks right up until October, and that gives you a longer harvest window. How are we doing?
Yes, there's some Japanese wineberries over there.
Oh, Japanese wineberries, that's right. Yeah, we need to have a look at them. Let's go over here and have a look at them. Yeah, there's a few of them. I've already been eating them too. There they are, look. Those ones aren't quite ready though. They're very prickly. Be careful with them. Oh, look. It's like a raspberry, but it's really delicate and it has a whole other flavour, and they're a little bit sticky too. You want to eat that? You can eat it. Alright. He loves any old berries from around. So the Japanese wineberry is a brilliant one. You can actually just propagate it from the stalks as well, so from a cutting. So we have some of those available on our website. So these are some American elder, and they're flowering from midsummer until about the end of October. And they are lovely. They have a really nice scent. They have a vanilla kind of scent, and when you make cordial with them, they're a whole new flavour compared to the European elder. These haven't opened up yet, and these have finished, you can see. But the American elder is really good because you can make cordials and wines with it. You have a very long harvest window all the way towards the end of the growing season, from mid to the end of the growing season that is. And with the European elder you only get 2 weeks, and usually we miss our opportunity at the start of June. Here you can see the marshmallow. It produces lots of flowers, so it looks nice and it's great for the insects. It attracts beneficial insects to the garden. And it also is a medicinal plant. The leaves are really good for mucilage, and they're very soft leaves actually. It's a herbaceous perennial, so it'll recede to the ground again in the winter, so you have to dry some leaves for the winter time if you want to drink tea. And we've got those available too. So here you can see some more of the Taunton Dean kale. We have some catmint here too. You can see the bees love it. And it hopefully attracts some cats to our garden here, because we're a little far away for our own cats to reach here. This is more of the curly willow. You can see it has a really nice colour of wood, but also it'll look nice in the winter time and during the growing season. We've got lots of different raspberries here too. These are the golden raspberries. Let me give that a try. The birds don't see these, so that means we get to eat them all. Except for, of course, the mole sometimes gets them. When the golden raspberries are ripe, they have the most wonderful flavour of them all. And we got some aronia berries too that are ready. Here's some of our pineapple mint. We've got about 15 varieties of mint now. It's well worth watching the video just about each of the varieties of mint. If you're interested, it's on our website. This is some more horseradish. We'll have a look through our jungle here. This is like a little bit of a forest garden that we've created about 3.5 years ago now. This is our wild raspberry. That's the birdland variety. So you can see here it is very spiky. You see that? And it's great for hedging for that reason. So towards the edge of your garden you can plant this, and it grows very vigorously and very tall, maybe about 2.5 meters tall, or about 8 feet, and it makes little small raspberries a little bit bigger than wild raspberries. You can see them here, and they're really nice to eat. Actually, I might as well eat this one while I'm at it. Yeah, there's a whole other flavour. Kind of like wild strawberries are nicer than any cultivated variety of strawberry. Same as the raspberries. You can get somewhere halfway between. Just like the Pegasus strawberry, you can get the wild raspberry, which is halfway between a cultivated variety and a wild raspberry. On the other side you can see a cultivated variety. This is Autumn Bliss is the name of the variety. It's good too. So we're excited about having lots of new varieties of raspberries and being able to offer those to you guys. And we've Portuguese kale here. Those are available as seed or as cuttings as well. These are our black currants. That's the birdland variety of black currants. You can see they're very vigorous. We got cuttings of those. And we also got gooseberry and white currant. This is actually the white currants. And we've got red currants too. All available as cuttings. This is sea buckthorn. We're going to try and see if we can get some cuttings rooted before December for you. And this is the motherwort. It's a medicinal plant, but it's great for the insects too, and it looks really nice in the garden. It's perennial and it'll keep coming back. Be aware it does spread a little bit as it goes to seed. If you don't want it to spread, you simply cut the seed stalks off, or flowering stalks after they go to flower. This is the Golden Tower Elder. There's a few of them available still. Only just a few though. This is the Hashberg Elder. It's the main variety in Europe that people use to grow elder flowers commercially, and elderberries. There's peppermint. It also goes to flower as well. You can see here. That's been here for about 4 years now. It's been going strong, and it hasn't actually really spread because we've been harvesting a little bit around the edges. But mainly it's just beside a wood, between a wood chip pat and some other plants here that are keeping it in check. So this is a hybrid poplar and it grows really tall. It grows also really fast as well, even just as fast as the willow. Cuttings for that will be available, but they'll be very limited. For those of you who remember the video from about a month or two ago, when we planted this up, this garden, look at what it has become. Full of yacons, we got some ochas, and lots of other plants too in between, like rhubarb, some catmint here, and some marshmallows. Very productive garden indeed. That's where our pots were before. For those of you still watching, thanks very much. And those were just some of the plants that we have on offer as part of the pre-sale of our winter selection. And please do go onto our website and take a look. We have about 70 different types of plants there. And don't forget the discount code EARLYBIRDWINTER23. It's available for the next couple of weeks. We'll be making some other videos of our gardens and some tours over the next few weeks. So stay tuned and we'll do some gardening and some harvesting videos as well. So please do stay tuned and subscribe to our email list if you want to stay in touch. Bye bye, see you the next time.